Hi, this is Jason Mader for Sweaty Heroes Comic Bargains, and this is number 90, episode 99. And so today we got DC Comics, so Supergirl and Steel and the golden age of comic bargains, basically. So first we got Steel, and this is written by Louise Simonson, and Steel, of course, was the Man of Steel, one of the four Superman from the Return of Superman storyline. And it's kind of cool that after the Return of Superman came out, you had Superboy, you had a Supergirl miniseries that came out, you had Steel, and so you had a lot of different new series that came out. Even Eradicator was part of the Outsiders for a while. So a lot of cool books that came out of this. So Steel was really cool. I really liked it, and they really could him to Washington D.C. That was kind of neat, and these are well done. I like them. Peter David and Canadian artist Leonard Kirk drew Supergirl. This Supergirl is not the one that you ain't remember. This Supergirl was originally, wait for it, post-crisis, 1986. There was a pocket dimension, not Earth 2, pocket dimension where a protoplasmic shapeshifter was created by Lex Luthor from that Earth, who became known as Matrix, and basically shapeshifted her way and turned herself into Supergirl while living at the Kent farm. I'm not making this up. Now, and later on, she ended up dating Lex Luthor 2, not knowing that it was a clone of Lex Luthor 1, with Lex Luthor in the body of Lex Luthor 2, passing him off as his own son, and that drove her nuts. And then after that storyline, she, wait for it, merged with Linda Danvers, and who is basically someone who was involved in a lot of occult stuff, and she died. Linda Danvers died, and they merged together and somehow created a one being, which became an Earthborn angel. This is related to Superman? I don't know how. But they were really good stories, actually. They were very much in the realm of fantasy. I wouldn't necessarily, maybe a little New Age. I'm not even sure I would call it that, because it was more closer to fantasy than New Age. But they were good stories, admittingly. Theologically, I mean, they're all over the place, but I get it. It's fiction. It's not meant to be Christian theology 101 or any particular theology. But anyways, you can see that she has wings right here for some reason. But this was cool, and she fights Despero. And then this one, she kind of goes bad. So Leonard Kirk was a great artist. Gary Frank was on work for this. They are worth checking out because you're not going to find them in trade, especially. Then there's an issue of Supergirl and the Legion of Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes, which is, wait for it, Kara Danvers, the cousin of Superman, but not the one from the Silver Age. This is a version that came in the early 2000s. It was introduced in Superman Batman comic, and fought Batman and Superman when she was brainwashed by Darkseid, and then later on, that's this Supergirl ends up going to the 30th century to join the Legion of Superheroes for a while, and she had her own series called Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes for a while, and that's where, anyways, that's that. So, and that's and that Supergirl has gone through many kind of I'd say character changes. Like a lot of people haven't been able to nail what to do with that with Supergirl. Ray number 3, again back to the 90s. DC was trying to. DC had a lot of great ideas in the 90s when you really think about it, and the Ray was their attempt to make like new heroes, new teen heroes, by using some of their existing properties and legacy characters. So the Ray is actually is a new character, but his father was the original Ray from the Golden Age. But this comic book was the artwork is by Howard Parter, Christopher Priest, who has written all kinds of different things, including Black Panther and Vampirilla, and also he's a minister. Okay, but anyways, Ray was a really cool book. Think about it as a cool kid from your high school who plays basketball. Not that the Ray plays basketball, but a cool kid from your school that kind of gets superpowers, and he's kind of like, but he's a cool kid. He's a nice kid. He's a nice kid too, and he's a good kid. So this is like a cooler Peter Parker, getting, Andrew Garfield could have played this guy. Anyways, before we get to that, because it's newer, Valor actually is another Legion of Superheroes. He's a Daxamite. If you don't know what the Daxamites are, very much they're supposed to be like a cousin race to the Kryptonians. So he basically has the same powers as Superman. And he was reintroduced in the Calypso The Darkness Within storyline, and then he got his own title. And so this is Valor, and it's very much connected to the Legions of Superheroes. But he's more of a I guess a young adult version of Superman, but in space, so something different. Marv Wolfman, who is a famed comic creator, doing Deathstroke the Terminator. So he's a Marv Wolfman. I've met Marv Wolfman in person. He's a great guy. And then we have the New Golden Age by Jeff Johns and many others. And this was something which, again, is this going to be a throwaway? But this story was really cool. The main story was really good. And basically, it's like him really taking the Justice Society of America and doing something new with them for the 2020s now. And it connects to a lot of the Golden Age history and a lot of the history of DC while trying to make sense of it in the new continuity that DC has. So I thought that was very clever. Then there is backup previews of the miniseries. There's backup previews of the miniseries that are in this book, like Flash and then Green Lantern and stuff. I'll be honest with you, only Flash really interested me, but the main story of this and the kind of like the idea that there's these forgotten heroes that they're going to bring back to the DC universe was pretty cool. And so I do recommend this if you're finding it at $1 Ben, because this is a $4.99 US book, and it would reintroduce you to the Justice Society of America. If you're reading this or watching this video in 2024, this is what this book is for, is to reintroduce the Justice Society of America, and it came out last year. Stay sweaty, and that's the DC comic bargains we have for today. On to episode 100.